It is fantastic to be here with all of you today for what will be another stellar year of Pinterest Predicts. This year, however, in 2025. When it comes to the run of show that we have here today, it's certainly quite an exciting one. And let me tell you a little bit about some of the people that we have with us today to help bring to life today's webinar. Joining me today will be the fantastic Namita, who joins us as agency lead. We also have my wonderful colleague Dee, our senior client partner and specialty across beauty and luxury, as well as Louise Kong, our creative strategy lead, who will be helping to bring to life some of the ways in which you can activate Pinterest Predicts in 2025 towards the latter stages of today's presentation. When it comes to what we will be looking to talk about, there are a couple of key things that we'll touch on today over the course of the next 35 to 45 minutes. First and foremost, it is that Pinterest is very much the place for trends, undoubtedly so. We'll then look to lift the lid on what some of the trends are for 2025, acknowledging that there are a lot of them. So we won't have time to go through all of them today. However, we will leave you with some great takeaways so that you can find out more information at your own leisure. As I mentioned beforehand, the excellent Lou will be taking you through how to activate. And then if time does permit, we'll touch on a couple of case studies. What I would love to raise with you today, however, is that we will be looking to take Q&A towards the close of today's session. So throughout the course of the next 35 to 40 minutes, be sure to leverage the Q&A functionality at the base of the screen, where you can look to leverage and type in different questions that we will look to answer moving forward over the course of the presentation. Now, when it comes to Pinterest and why we are very much the place for trends, well, what I would like you to think about as we move through today's presentation is something that is very much intrinsic to our platform. And that is that people come to Pinterest to plan for their future, be it something as simple as tonight's dinner inspiration, or it could be planning for something further down the track, such as a wedding. But something that's very true to all of those behaviors is that they're coming to plan for their future. So who better to tell the future than the platform where people come to plan it? And that is very much Pinterest. When it comes to what we're looking to give you today, it is some secret sauce. We want to provide you with some trends that will be of a commercial advantage to you moving through the year when you look to leverage them. And we recognize that it has never been harder than ever before to leverage trends in a meaningful way. This is illustrated so eloquently on screen right now, where we can see that trends themselves used to last longer and present a greater amount of opportunity to tap into them over the course of a period of time to extract a higher ROI. Whereas now, based on changing behaviors of our users, as well as people more broadly in the media, we're finding that trends are peaking oh so quickly and then finding a trough just as fast. What that means is that as a brand, when you look to tap into a trend, it's more difficult than ever before to be able to meaningfully leverage that trend over a sustained period of time. As such, our big focus here at Pinterest has been in identifying trends as part of Pinterest Predicts that we expect to have staying power over the course of 2025. When it comes to our credibility, yes, of course, people are coming to Pinterest to plan for their future, which is, of course, a huge, unique advantage. But it comes down to a lot of key things that help to inform exactly how we go about forecasting our predictions for the year ahead. First and foremost, we have access to billions of data points right the way across Australia and into many other markets where we're active, which we're able to leverage to help inform the different trends that we believe will take shape over the course of the next 12 months. Following that, it's all about careful curation. As I mentioned, we do want to make sure that these trends are going to have that staying power. As such, we leverage machine learning, which has been integral to Pinterest for some time, and we utilize that to cluster these trends into specific emerging themes. And of course, we're not ones to mark our own homework. We engage with external partners to make sure that these trends have validity more broadly in the market, outside of the four walls of Pinterest. And lastly, it is all about that predictive promise. As I've mentioned before, and I'll say it again, we want to make sure that these trends are going to have that staying power so that over the course of the next 12 months, you can make the most of them as part of your campaigns and activations on Pinterest. In terms of some of our credibility and building on that a little bit more, something that consistently happens is that these predictions come true. So much so that in the last number of years, over 80% of the trends have consistently come true that we've looked to forecast. And we've validated that both through external collaboration, but also, of course, through on-platform trends, such as looking at things such as growth across searches, saves, and shopping on Pinterest, of which are key engagement metrics. And we ultimately know that saves is one of the leading indicators of purchase intent. If I draw your attention to the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a couple of nods there as to what pinners were saving over the course of 2025. For those that aren't familiar, making a racket was a big trend that we predicted to take shape over the course of last year. And that shape is very much evidenced on the right-hand side, where you can see that pinners themselves were engaging with making a racket aligned content right the way throughout the year in sizable ways. One trend, however, that did take a different shape on Pinterest moving through 2024 was Tropic Like It's Hot. Something that's quite unique to the trends on Pinterest is that they are authentic, durable, and actionable. And something that perhaps best illustrates this is the trend Tropic Like It's Hot from 2024. Beginning in food and drink, it then transformed into travel, and then our users found themselves engaging with Tropic Like It's Hot aligned content within home decor. And this malleable nature of trends and predictions on Pinterest is something that my colleagues will talk to shortly when they highlight some of the cross-category trends that we're forecasting as Power at Pinterest predicts in 2025. With that in mind, I'll pass over to my colleague Namita to pick up the mic and take to the next stage.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We're going to jump into the trends, super exciting. But before we do, I'm going to immerse you in some of the predicts this year with a little video.
Con actitud, ups, me miro mejor que tú, desde el maquillaje hasta los shoes.
Without further ado, we're going to dive into our first trend, cherry coated. Now, cherry martini, anyone, may be slightly too early. We've really seen that Gen Z and millennials are taking this into their looks, their makeup and moments. It's really influenced by aspirational brands like Gucci taking a hold of this color, and the likes of Halle Bieber's Rhode lip case that has gone absolutely viral. I think what's deeper here and beyond the aesthetic, this is embracing those rich cherry hues. People are kind of stepping into that villain era. It's owning your own power, it's defying expectations, and it's expressing themselves unapologetically. So how could you access cherry coded? So if you're a beauty brand, there's the opportunity to work with creators. How can you help land that cherry red hair or that perfect lip color? Something a little different. If you're an auto brand, you can show off your 2025 features using that cherry pop color. But really there deeper, there's that opportunity to own that rebellious spirit. And then finally, if you want to amplify, what an amazing way to take cherry coded into real life worlds, those 5 senses of sight, smell, hear, taste, and touch. But again, there's that opportunity to embody that villain era vibe and have a bit of permission for people to be unapologetically themselves. Now we're going to take a modern take on the Middle Ages. Dee, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you, Nams. Hi, everyone. I love presenting the trends, so I'm going to have a bit of fun with this morning. And I'm going to start off With a bit of a true confession, no shame in me admitting that a few of my best friends last year influenced me to start reading romantasy books. I've completely crossed over to the dark side. And I know that there would be a few of you on the call who, like me, are romantasy fans now, but there's no denying that this book genre has been surging in popularity in the last 12 months. And you'll absolutely see that this is having a big influence in this first trend that I'm going to talk to you about this morning, because let me tell you, everyone, medieval is having a moment with Gen Z and millennials in 2025. Royal influences. I mean, hello, Jaden Smith. Did we see him at the Grammys? A literal castle on his head. Need I say more? But we're thinking, chainmail dresses and accessories a la Zendaya on the red carpet last year. Think rubies, opulence, luxurious drapery. It's a serious comeback story of the highest order. So I'm going to give you some examples now. If you are a bit of a fashion brand, why not think about working with creators to medievalize, standard looks with perhaps more, Gothic inspired accessories? And if you're in the home space, let's use one of our Pinterest showcase ads to demonstrate ways to transform your room from ordinary to opulent with maybe floor to ceiling drapery and tassels on everything. I love that idea. What have we got next, Nams?
Awesome. We're going to think about terra futura. Now, the environment and sustainability is not necessarily new, but it continues to be a focus. And what I love here is there's this renewed sense of optimism and collaboration. As Australians, what's really interesting is we are finding more trust in peer-to-peer than organizations and journalists. Terra Futura is really underpinned by this sense of self-sovereignty. It's coming together with a shared belief and really solving for problems that we have. And here we're talking about the environment, whether it's self-sufficient community gardens, it's supporting local recyclable fashion. We're really turning to one another to solve problems big and small for the environment that we live in. So how can brands access this? If you're a home brand, there's really the opportunity to tap into this green curious audience and use things like our showcase ads to give tips and tricks. It's that chance to deliver utility to an audience really seeking solutions. If you're a fashion brand, we've absolutely seen huge amount of focus in this space, sustainable materials, eco-friendly practices. Now's the time to really put a spotlight on this. And then if you want to really amplify this, how can we take this out into nature? You can create moments, whether it's parks, lakes, roof terraces, whether it's a fashion brand, but also more broadly, just adjacent categories. How can we infuse those sustainable practices? I really think there's an opportunity here for brands to provide value and give people the tools they need to make a difference. There's an absolute step changing coming next. Dee, what do we got?
Okay, this is one of my favorites. You can call me Ursula because I think I'm in my sea witch era. This is all about, iridescent and opalescent trends. It's going to be making serious waves in the beauty space. I'm going to give you a visual. Just think Kim Kardashian's Mugler look from the 2019 Met Gala with that dripping wet water corset. She's got that glowing skin, wet hair. She's just like a sea witch rising from the sea and walking onto the red carpet. I'm hoping I'm painting a picture for you now. This year, this kind of dark siren makeup, sea-inspired nails, wavy wet hair, it's going to be taking over the beauty world, and it's especially so for Gen Z and millennials who are going to be diving headfirst into this sultry and seductive aesthetic. I love it. I love it. I love it. So how might we activate against sea witchery this year? Well, if you're a beauty brand, of course, why not dive into, again, showcase ads to potentially highlight different bewitching looks that are inspired by, phases of the moon or even the rising tides. And if you're working with creators, this is a really fun one. Why not get them to coven a pop-up pool party where they'll be able to explore your latest Sea Witch inspired products. So Nams, I'm also a little bit obsessed with the next one. So what have we got next?
Okay, so Dee, I'm happy to tell you and everyone that more is more in 2025, a trend I'd say my kids seem to have owned since birth. After years of minimalism, we are mixing, we're matching its bold patterns, its textures, its prints. This maximalist trend is showing up in home decor, fashion, as you would probably expect, but beneath it all, it really signals a sense of radical transparency. There's absolutely no need to tone ourselves down, and it's that feeling of freedom of being our true self. So how could we show up? I mean, if you're a home brand, this is really helping pinners embrace and unleash that inner eclectic by working with creators to show how to mix and match different colors, textures, prints, something we've been afraid to do for many years. Interestingly, if you're a food brand, how could you take maximalism into meal times? You could think about desserts, but also kind of micro moments like elevating school dinners. That's really taking that big energy into micro moments. And then finally, if you want to amplify this, how could you inspire pinners to escape, I guess, more mundane moments by curating Pinterest boards filled with those bright colors, whether it's home decors, you could share those boards on digital out of home. And those brands who embody that big, bold energy can take spaces physically and bring that color and high energy. Okay, Dee, let's take to the C next.
Okay, I'm also loving this one. I love them all, but I'm also loving this one. And I think this is going to be inspiring a little bit of Tom's wardrobe this year. Prove me wrong, Tom. But the next iteration of our favorite eclectic grandpa from last year, we are giving you the new effortlessly cool fisherman aesthetic. Yes, in 2025, Gen Z and Gen X are embracing this laid back maritime attitude, seizing the day with cable knit sweaters, bucket hats, fisherman sandals. Think coastal prep with a kitschy twist and stripes on stripes on stripes. Love it. So how are we going to activate if you're a brand looking to align with the fisherman aesthetic? Let's give you some thought starters. We totally recommend that you embrace the maritime vibe and hero any of your products that incorporate, of course, the knits, the stripes, the sandals, inspiring pinners to try this laid-back seaside style for themselves. And you could take it even one step further and bring this trend to life in the home with your furnishings, with, accented stripes, nautical art, cozy knitted blankets, all that kind of stuff. And why not bring the two worlds together with a limited edition coffee table book where we can merge fashion and history and decor together, giving consumers physical pages of inspiration that they can refer back to time and time again. So we're getting closer to the end. What have we got next, Nams?
Okay, so if we're talking favorites, this one's definitely got me, and it's probably not because I'm watching Bridgerton for the second time, but Rococo Revival is this ultra feminine, opulent, it's seen in fashion, accessories, tablescapes. Interestingly here, what we've seen is it's both ends of generation spectrum leading this movement, and it's showing up in a big way for events, things like parties and weddings. But what I really love about this trend is it's grounded in this celebration of life. It's was described as the era that was the original YOLO, which I absolutely love. And beyond the frills, people are finding ways to escape, I guess, what can sometimes feel like quite a serious life. So how can we show up? If you're a beauty brand, there's that opportunity to really tap into those feminine color palettes and warm makeup tones. If you're a food brand, there could be this opportunity to really create moments of escape through food, whether it be cake decor or finger food. It's transforming those dinner party moments at home. And then finally, if you want to amplify, it can feel like an intimidating space to talk to. So utilizing creators to produce content through every aspect of Rococo. It could be food pop-ups, or it could really be immersive brand experiences that have fun with the frills and the thrills of the era, and you really utilize authentic storytelling to tell that story. Okay, Dee, what do we got?
Okay, last one from me. And I'm unintentionally giving some Rococo with my sleeves today, I've realized. But the last trend I'm going to share with you today, and it truly tugs at my heartstrings. I wish this was a thing when I had my babies. But let's meet the new supportive parenting trend for 2025. This year, it's not about, the luxury gifts. Nesting parties is truly all about helping new parents prep for baby's arrival. And I love this from Gen Z and millennials who are truly looking to flip the script and host parties for expecting friends and loved ones so that they're truly prepped for that wild postpartum period, helping both mum and dad with all the organization and filling their freezers with delicious food to fuel their bodies and feed the family. So how can we activate against this beautiful trend? Well, if you're a brand that plays in the gifting space, this is absolutely one for you. Please look for ways to share gift inspiration where you can nurture the whole family, mum and dad, not just baby, and have a think about their home and also their health. And also, nothing supports a growing family like contributing to that sweet baby's financial future. So if you are a FinServe brand, really demonstrate how you might be able to help new families invest in their future nest. So take it away, Nams, with the last trend for this morning.
Here we go. Final one from me, and we're going to be ending on a high, excuse the pun, peak travel. I mean, yes, the visual shows snow, but this is not just about snow. It's getting out into mountain air, getting out into nature, snow or no snow, and really experiencing and having those moments of levity. And really beneath it all, it's a simple celebration of fulfilling experiences that aren't hard to access. What we're hearing is cities have totally peaked. So how can you get onto this trend? So if you're a travel brand, of course, there's an opportunity to offer new ways to elevate your excursion, whether it's mountaintops or indulging in a luxury spot or epic adventures. It's really about how you create that sense of freedom that nature provides. If you're a FinServe brand, how can you offer peak ways to explore, serving suggestions for people that are really craving that escape, as we spoke about, and choosing something unique that allows you to disconnect from modern life? And finally, if you want to amplify, hosting events that take your brand to unexpected heights and creating experiences that revel in nature and provide that sense of calm and freedom in what can sometimes be a quite chaotic world. Awesome. Well, I hope you've enjoyed us taking you through some of those trends. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand to Lou, our creative strategist, who's going to talk to you about how you can really activate on these. Lou.
Thank you, Nabs. So now that we've met some of the trends, now I'm going to talk you through what you can actually do with them. So we often get asked, how can I use these trends in my campaigns? Advertisers want more guidance on the tactical ways to activate trends across their marketing efforts. You asked, so we're here to provide some tips for how you can tap into Predicts trends to help you reach your business goals. So the first tip might sound obvious, but it's a really important step, and that is to choose the right trends for your business. Pinterest Predicts trends are versatile, and many of them can work across a range of different categories. So when it comes to selecting trends, there are a couple of ways you can think about it. You could take the very straightforward path and pick ones that directly align to your brand aesthetic, products, or values. Or you could think laterally to explore adjacent or unexpected trend connections, as this can be a really great way for your brand to engage with new audiences. But we get that, we've covered a lot of exciting trends today, and making a decision like this can be hard. So if I could give you one piece of advice, it's to work with trends that feel authentic and true to your brand. So after you've identified which trends best align to your brand and business priorities, you can start to build out your trend strategy. So a great starting point is to incorporate trends into your ad creative to give it a fresh spin. So consider building entire concepts around a trend, using it to inspire video storytelling, photography, or even production style. Or you could simply borrow cues from a trend to help shape your design aesthetic, such as using specific colors, icons, or typography. Then once you've developed your content, it's time to think about getting it in front of the right customers. So we encourage you to use the sample keywords that we've provided for each trend to really inspire your own targeting strategy and run ads against the trending keywords that are most relevant to your audience and business. And you can also expand your trend strategy from online to offline. Consider working with other functions within your business to take things a step further and incorporate trends into PR events, marketing pop-ups, visual merchandising, or even into product design. And our third tip here is to really optimize your trend campaigns by timing them right. So consider tapping into seasonal opportunities to really boost the relevance of your trend strategy. For example, as people start to plan for the winter holidays, jump on the peak travel trend to highlight affordable mountaintop stays. Or when the weather turns warmer, use the fisherman aesthetic trend to inspire cool coastal looks. So in addition to aligning to those seasonal moments, you can think about how you can use these trends to boost your next big launch. Perhaps you want to explore ways to style a new range through the lens of a trend, or you could use a trend to amplify a newly released product. Alternatively, you could think about how to use these trends on a really tactical level, perhaps at your next launch party. Perhaps dialing up those medieval elements inspired by castle core or experimenting with cherry-centric recipes. And lastly, here, perhaps the ultimate way you can take action on a trend is by sponsoring one. So an official Pinterest Predicts Trends sponsorship unlocks a premium partnership that gives you exclusive marketing rights to a specific trend in your market, including a co-branded badge that you can use on Pinterest and beyond. You can also get hands-on creative support to help bring your trend ideas to life. And adorning your creative with a trend badge does more than just make it look pretty. It drives both consumer trust and performance. In fact, an analysis of past campaigns showed that pins with a trend badge drove a 2.4 times higher conversion rate and a 37% lower CPAs versus pins without the trend badge. So to learn more about these premium opportunities, please reach out to your Pinterest account team. And with that, I'll pass back to Tom to bring us home.
Cheers, Lou. Certainly some exciting things in there as part of Pinterest Predicts for 2025. At the end of the day, however, Pinterest Predicts is only one tentpole of the calendar year that we have planned for you moving through the next 12 months of the year. And a great way in which you can better upskill and learn more about the Pinterest platform is, of course, through Pinterest Academy. On the right-hand side, you'll see a handful of some of the modules that we currently have available to help you better understand how best to bring to life different campaigns and activations on Pinterest, including those that might actually leverage some of the predictions from today's session. As we look to come, though, to a close today, I will draw your attention to the Q&A, as well as this QR code on the right-hand side of the screen. We're always open to feedback, and whilst, yes, I acknowledge there are a couple of technical difficulties today, that is an inevitability, as it seems, in the world of webinars that we operate in 2025. So please do capture your feedback via the QR code on the right-hand side, and I'll be sure to turn now to some of the questions that we have had submitted, and we'll look to answer them as promptly as possible. This is quite a pertinent one, and certainly one that is asked around the predictions every year. This question relates to whether or not we'll be talking to the specific time of year where we best believe these trends and predictions will play out. What I might do is pass to Dee, one of our leading beauty and luxury representatives here at Pinterest, to provide some context.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. If you refer back to the earlier part of our presentation, Tom put up that lovely little chart about, the opportunity to access these trends is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So one thing that we do recommend, if you are going to do a big splash where you want to sponsor a trend, own a trend, a really big campaign over a short period of time, we recommend doing that definitely in the first half of the year. Activating these trends early means you're jumping on them now when they're, at their peak, as they kind of dip off towards the end of the year, when we start to collect our data in the back half for the trends that we'll be calling for 2026. So absolutely, if you're thinking about a big campaign where you want to sponsor a trend, first half of the year, but we also see that these trends continue to last over the course of the year. So incorporating them as part of your keyword strategies, incorporating them as part of your creator activations or any visuals that you're running, any product shots with beautiful cherries, things like that, you can absolutely still incorporate those as part of your content strategies throughout the year.
Thank you very much, Dee. Quite a fitting segue into the following question here, which actually focuses on how best to activate one of these Pinterest Predicts trends. And in the question specifically, it's asked around hashtags. What I would like to say when it comes to hashtags is that it's not necessarily something that I would lead with on the platform. If you're looking for broader circulation on Pinterest from an organic point of view, there are other things that you should look to consider first and foremost, as far as your pin title, your pin description, your board name, your board section names, as well as the overall look and feel of your landing page, as all of these are but a handful of the attributes that contribute to how your content will be circulated and discovered by users on Pinterest. When it comes to some other easy ways, however, in which you may be able to bring to life a particular Pinterest Predicts trend on platform, I might lean to our creative strategy lead, Lou, to provide a couple of top line thoughts.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah. So one of the questions we sometimes get asked is, we've already planned out our marketing calendar for the full year, but we love some of these trends. How can we tap into them? So I would say that just because you want to align to a trend, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to make a whole suite of new creative. There are really simple ways that you can adapt your creative simply by adding colors, additional imagery, specific fonts, and copy overlay to really tap into a trend. And one thing I would suggest, there's a new content format that's become very popular on Pinterest over the last year, which is called collages. It's a style of organic content where you can essentially cut out different items within a pin and create your own, visual mood board. I would recommend this as a great way to tap into trends, as it's a really great way to repurpose assets that you already have. So think about, assets you have on your website, past shoots, and things like that, and perhaps supplementing with stock imagery to kind of bring some of these trends to life.
Thank you very much, Lou. Well, that does bring to a close today's session. I would like to thank my fellow panelists, our events team, and of course you, our attendees, for making today a possibility. If I can leave you with anything, it's that our Pinterest predictions for 2025 are very much authentic, durable, and actionable. And if you are after more information, be sure to head to pinterestpredicts.com to learn more about these 20 inspiring trends for 2025. Thank you.